On today's episode, Spartan Race and OCR World Champion, Nicole Mericle. Welcome to the OCR Report podcast, brought to you by the OCRReport.com. We are the only podcast to focus exclusively on the elite sport of obstacle course racing, from Spartan to Tough Mudder to the OCR World Championships, and wherever the elites are racing, we are there. My name is Will Hicks, and this is the OCR Report. Welcome back to the OCR Report podcast. Glad to have you. My name is Will Hicks. Thank you for listening. On today's show, Nicole Mericle. Nicole is the reigning Spartan World Champion, the Spartan Trifecta World Champion, and the 15K OCRWC World Champion. She won those races a long time ago in an era we like to call 2019. I am looking forward to races again this year. Before we talk with Nicole, you can email me at willhicks@theocrreport. Cancel that. Before we talk with Nicole, you can email me at will@theocrreport.com. You can also email me at willhicks@gmail.com. That's fine. But, let's have some work-life balance here. You can text me at 619-485-2726. And you can follow the show on Instagram at the OCR Report. You can leave a review of the show on Apple Podcasts and lovethepodcast.com/OCR. Review the show. lovethepodcast.com/OCR. Let's talk some news. This weekend is the first race, days away, the first race of the 2021 OCR season, and it is happening. Blast it. Spartan will hold the first sprint and super of the season in Jacksonville, Florida, including on Sunday, the first race in the 2021 Spartan US National Series. I have talked with Spartan about every week and almost every day, about every week, the last 4 or 5 weeks, and almost every day, the last week and a half. How's Jacksonville? Jacksonville's still happening. Hey, there's going to be a race in Jacksonville, right? Every time, the answer is yes. As I'm recording this, we are days away from the race, and it's still get on a plane and get to Jacksonville. Be sure to follow the OCR Report on Instagram on race day. If you're not going to be there to race, follow us for race day coverage from the venue, the OCR Report on Instagram. Very excited to see live races back this weekend. Two of the athletes who will not be there, Ryan Atkins and Lindsay Webster, have announced on Instagram they will not be at the starting line in Jacksonville this weekend. Ryan and Lindsay are two of the most decorated athletes in the sport. Multiple championships between them. You know Ryan and Lindsay. They're married. They live in Canada. And due to international travel restrictions and quarantine requirements, they are not going to be able to make the trip this weekend. This will have huge ramifications for the podium in Jacksonville. Both of them would be favored to win, or at worst, finish in second or third place if they were to race this weekend. Them not being in Jacksonville, Ryan and Lindsay's absence will leave room for someone else to make a run and get additional points for themselves in the 2021 US National Series points race. I have been beating this drum for weeks. I feel like if you can, you should get to these races early in the season. Build up points. And you never know. You can make a run at the entire thing. You don't know what's going to happen this year. This is a crazy year, right? 2020, we didn't know what was going on. Okay, 2021, we have a better idea. Stuff can still go upside down. Get to the races, get your points. This is different. I want to make a very clear distinction. This is different from what those cherry pickers do. And you know what I'm talking about. When there is a U.S. National Series race in Montana, and all the elites are up there competing against the best of the best. So someone flies across the country, the opposite direction to Fayetteville, Arkansas, or whatever, and beats out all the locals to get their podium, then you use that podium finish on your racing resume to annoy companies for ambassadorships or free samples or discount code. Look, I just want you to know, I see you working. I see what you're doing, and you need to knock it off. If you want to be the best, you need to beat the best. Other news, Spartan announced a date and venue for the last big race on the calendar. Not the last race of the calendar, but the last race to be announced. The Spartan Ultra. The 2021 Spartan Ultra will be held on October 10th in Telluride, Colorado. This is going to be the first time the Ultra Championship has been held in the U.S. since they moved it to the 24-hour format in 2017. Okay, I want to talk about that for a minute. First, the venue. This is the fourth year of the 24-hour Ultra Championship. Before that, the Ultra Championship was an Ultra, just a regular 2 laps of the Beast Course that they held the same weekend as this at the same venue as a Spartan World Championship. So really, for all intents and purposes, 2017 was the first year of a new race. So since 2017, the race has been held in Iceland twice and in Sweden once. Both of those venues, if you go back, look at our pictures on the OCRReport.com, both of those venues were intense cold weather experiences, like once in a lifetime, well, 3 times in a lifetime type cold, like just insane cold weather. Colorado in October might not even have snow. Now, there's no such thing as an easy 24-hour race. But if you did not like the Ultra Championships in Sweden or Iceland because you don't like the cold, then you should think about doing it this year in Colorado. That's the venue. Let's talk about the date. October 10th. October 10th is 1 month before, almost exactly 1 month before World's Toughest Mudder, which is the granddaddy of 24-hour OCR races in Laughlin, Nevada. Tough Mudder has announced that prize money is returning to WTM this year, giving the endurance athletes another reason to come back to WTM. WTM lost a few of their big names for a year while Tough Mudder was sorting out their money issues. 1 month between the two races. Is 1 month enough time to run the Spartan Ultra, recover, and then run World's Toughest Mudder? The answer is absolutely maybe. It's been done before. Ryan Atkins has done it. Morgan Mackay has done it. Others have done it. But 1 month is the absolute minimum. 3 weeks, the answer is no. 5 weeks, the answer is okay, yeah. 4 weeks is right on the line with enough recovery time. I've talked to Rhea Coble about this. Rhea won World's Toughest Mudder back-to-back, 2017 and 2018. In 2019, she won the Spartan Ultra Champs in Sweden. Her plan this year is to run the Spartan Ultra Champs and not run World's Toughest Mudder. Little sidebar. Don't tell Rhea. But I'm hoping after she runs the Spartan Ultra, she'll get 3 nice long weeks of recovery, 3.5 weeks maybe, be all rested, legs getting fresh. She'll see everyone posting about World's Toughest Mudders in 1 week, World's Toughest Mudders in 6 days. OMG, so excited. And then she'll just show up in Laughlin and run the thing again. Ray hasn't run World's Toughest Mudder since 2018. It would be good to have her back. I think what will happen is we will have a situation similar to what is going on with the weekend of September 26th. That weekend is both the OCR World Championships in Vermont and the Spartan World Championships, or Spartan North American Championships, rather, in Tahoe. The elite athletes are having to make a decision about which race to choose because you can't do both. Unless you can not to scoop myself, but Nicole Mericle is working out a plan to see if she can run OCRWC Friday, Saturday, and then fly out to California on Saturday night to run Tahoe on Sunday. So there's technically enough time, but man, my legs would never forgive me. But other than Nicole, most athletes have to decide between OCRWC and Spartan North American Championships. And the endurance elites are going to have to make that same decision with the Spartan Ultra and World's Toughest Mudder. Now, for the open waiver guys, it's probably not even a decision, right? If you're a WTM guy, you're doing WTM. And if you're a Spartan guy, you're doing the Spartan Ultra. It's similar to OCRWC and the Spartan World Championships. Some racers are just Spartan racers, and that's fine. And some racers prefer OCRWC. And having the Spartan North American Champs the same weekend isn't even a factor for them. And that's fine too. So, which race would you do? Spartan Ultra, World's Toughest Mudder? Let me know. 619-485-2726. So let's review the big races on the Spartan schedule this year. I'm not going to read a list of dates to you, but let's just talk about the races. There are 9 Spartan races that I'm going to be watching closely this year. They are the 5 US National Series races, the North American Championship, the Ultra Championship, the Trifecta Championship, and the World Championship. Again, not going to read dates. I'll give you the first few. If you want the whole calendar, text me. Text calendar to 619-485-2726. That calendar, if you send me a text, I'll shoot you a calendar of all the big dates I'm watching this year. That calendar will also have the non-Spartan elite races that I'm watching this year also. Text calendar 619-485-2726. So of those Spartan races, those 9, the first 3 this weekend in Jacksonville, that's number 1. That is the first race in the US National Series, Jacksonville Sprint. The next big Spartan race I'm watching is May 16th. That is the second race in the US Championship Series, the Big Bear Sprint. I'm watching that one not just for the race, but for whether the race actually happens. Big Bear is a mountain town, a ski town in Southern California, and California has been one of the worst states with not following the science with lockdowns. California doesn't care about anything. They will lock you down. I'm hopeful that by May, that race, Big Bear, May 16th, I'm hopeful that by May, the state will have figured things out and the race will go off smoothly. And then the next big Spartan race, the third race in the U.S. Series, July 17th, the Utah Beast. I did some research online. It's tough to tell how Utah is approaching COVID. If you live in Utah, can you let me know? Shoot me an email, will@theocrreport.com. If I had to guess about Utah, especially with it being in July, it's 6 months, 5 months from, when I'm recording right now. I feel pretty good that the race will happen on schedule, but what do I know? Again, if you want the rest of my races to watch, schedule, text me, 619-485-2726. Text word calendar. I need a break. I'm thirsty. Hey, are you thirsty right now? Hey, listen to this. I'm going to do this live at my desk. How about a nice cold can of Athletic Brewing? Athletic Brewing is a new sponsor for the show. Very excited to have them. They have high quality, flavorful, award-winning craft. And it sounds delicious too, doesn't it? 50 to 70 calories per can. No alcohol, all flavor, craft beer that just happens to be non-alcoholic. They have a program called the 2 for the Trails. They donate 2% of all sales dollars to maintaining trails and parks that are often underserved by government budget shortfalls. Check them out, athleticbrewing.com. And use the code OCR Report 15% off your first order. Order 2 6-packs and get free shipping. athleticbrewing.com. Remember we talked about those Gooder sunglasses? you could enter to win a free pair of Gooder sunglasses. I have 2 pair to give away via Instagram or by texting me at 619-485-2726. Let's give away some sunglasses. I have 2 pair of sunglasses, 2 pairs of sunglasses, 2 pair of sunglasses to give away. The first pair goes to Monsi Ponce. Monsi, I see your first name is Monica. I do not know your last name. The second and final pair goes to Jessica Johnson. Congratulations, Jessica. And Monica, I will reach out to you privately, get your mailing addresses. I'll throw in a little OCR Report swag for you also. Hey, do you guys remember stickers? Stickers are fun. I was giving away OCR Report and World Subs Podcast stickers, but now I have more stickers. I have Obstacle Running Adventure stickers. I have OCR Talk stickers. I even have OCR Coven stickers. Period. So we are resetting the sticker timer. If you have or have not ever received stickers from me, forget about it. Clean slate. Text me the word stickers to 619-485-2726, and I will send you a small stack of stickers. But I texted you before, and I know. Trust me, it's worth it. Text me the word stickers to 619-485-2726. I have to text you again? Listen. You're not paying 10 cents a piece for them like we used to send a text, okay? Stop running. Stop exercising. Pause this right now. Text the word stickers to 619-485-2726. It's worth it. I promise. Let's read some iTunes reviews.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Our first review comes from I Am a Spartan. That is Scott, I'm sorry. Scott writes, 5 stars. Great podcast. Really informative and good interviews with elites. I always look forward to the subtle jokes Will adds to each episode. My kind of humor. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Scott likes my subtle jokes. How subtle are they? Sometimes they're so subtle, you don't even get them. Scott has his own podcast called I Am a Spartan. It's actually called that because Scott was an extra on set while they filmed the movie 300. The obstacle course racing thing is just a coincidence. That's a true story. You should ask him about it. Our next review comes from San Diego Runner. San Diego Runner writes, 5 stars. Great interviews and great guests. I love the individual details and behind-the-scenes information on how so many prepare for races. Thank you, San Diego Runner. It's funny you mentioned details. I remember leading up to my first World's Toughest Mudder, I was so stressed out about what kind of shoe should I wear. It drove me crazy. Everything else was fine. Wasn't worried about wetsuits. Wasn't worried about nutrition. But that one detail, which shoe should I wear? Drove me crazy. I asked everybody I could find. This was before World's Toughest Podcast was a thing. This was before I knew about the WTM community group on Facebook. I ended up, no lie, I think I brought 8 pairs of shoes to my first World's Toughest Mudder. Now I bring 2, and one of them is sandals for afterwards. If you would like to be a part of the show like Scott Knowles and San Diego Runner, you can leave a review on iTunes also. Just click the purple podcast button on your iPhone or iOS device, search for the OCR Report, click our logo, and then scroll down to click Write a Review. If you're not an iPhone or iOS guy, go to lovethepodcast.com/OCR. You can hit that pod chaser button. That's probably the easiest way to do it if you're doing lovethepodcast.com/OCR. Nicole Mericle is at the top of the sport of OCR. She has multiple championships under her belt, including 3 world championships in 2019 alone. She has always been fast, but she's been taking advantage of the time from the last 12 months, and now she is strong as well. It's time to talk with Nicole Mericle. Let's go to the phones. Nicole Mericle is the reigning Spartan Race World Champion, the Spartan Trifecta Champion, and the OCRWC 15K World Champion. Nicole appears today courtesy of Athletic Brewing. Always happy to welcome to the show, Nicole Mericle. Hey, Nicole.
Hey, how's it going?
So good. Nicole, I don't know if we've talked about it, but between those big races, you had quite the 2019.
Yep. 2019 was really successful, super, super busy, but lots of fun.
How have you been this past 2020 and, the past 12 months, I guess?
It's definitely been different, but I think maybe especially because I raced so much in 2019, it was actually kind of nice to take a step back and just have some downtime, and then also just explore a few different new sports, essentially. I got into ultra racing a little bit, and then started doing a lot more mixed climbing with ice tools, and that was very different and a lot of fun. So yeah, it's actually been pretty positive for me, besides like a financial loss, but a lot of people are experiencing that. So yeah.
Tell me about your ultra running experience. I've kind of wanted to see you at World's Toughest Mudder for a couple of years, and you always told me like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Tell me about that.
Yeah. I think that I've always shied away from like the longer distances, like in high school, given the mile and the 2 mile, like I always wanted to do the mile. In college, given all the different events, like I wanted to do like 1500 steeplechase. I didn't even want to touch like the 5K on the track. That just seemed too long for me. And then like moving into OCR racing was no different in that I really like the 3K. I really like the Spartan sprint type of distance. And it's even taken kind of like some coming around for me to really like embrace the beast distance even. So yes, you're not incorrect that I've kind of always like had a hard no on the world's toughest mudder front. I do think that I would be more open to doing some ultra distance obstacle course racing. I think 24 hours is still a really long way for me to wrap my mind around. But maybe like Spartan, like, ultra distances, I could possibly do that. At least now that I've like covered that distance on foot, at least.
The good thing about World's Toughest Mudder and even the Spartan Ultra Championship that's going to be in Colorado this year is that they're on loops. So you do, 5 mile. It's just a 5 mile race, just over and over and over. But anyway, it'd be, it's always there.
I did the Ultra Virus Challenge that Matt Davis put on with Off Sourcing Media. And I think, and that was really fun. And that was kind of that same format where like you only run 5 miles and then you get to come back and take a sip of water and have a snack and kind of regroup. So I do like that format. The other ultra distance event that I did was the Grand Traverse, which was 46 miles in Crested Butte. And that was awesome. It was beautiful, but I definitely looked forward to the halfway point, which was where you had like you could bring like a big drop bag and you could just like really exchange a lot of things. So yeah, having crew every 5 miles, I can see is like a huge benefit.
There's a mental aspect to it too, though, because once you get in there, you're like, oh, I don't want to leave. Like I'm getting warm, or I'm sitting down, but anyway, that's good. I see you and the other athletes that live in Colorado running around, and I'm kind of jealous. You guys have beautiful terrain. It seems like everyone lives right next to a mountain. I've never seen like an ugly run picture from Colorado.
Yeah, I definitely feel very fortunate, especially during COVID, to be able to have some pretty like empty trails, or I can at least like access pretty empty trails easily, so I can like stay away from people and get a good workout in, and not have to like put a mask up and down a bunch.
The 2021 OCR season kicks off this weekend in Jacksonville. Will you be there?
I will be there. Yes.
How excited are you to be back to racing real races?
I'm pretty stoked. Yeah. I think that I haven't even really thought, I guess, as much about the actual competitive aspect or my personal race going into it. Cause I think I'm just so excited to be back in that atmosphere and around like those friends and that community. And I've kind of been like focusing a lot on like who are the new people coming into the sport. And so I feel like I haven't even really thought about it in terms of like my personal race. It's just really exciting that it's like happening in general.
We don't talk about this a lot, but we know all these people, and a lot of these people that you compete against and you're friends with, like you haven't seen them in 16, 18, like almost 2 years, maybe for some of them.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a long time. And I guess for me, I still had a lot of competition in 2020, even though it wasn't the normal Spartan season. I did some shorter trail races. I did those ultras. I went to the Spartan games. And so it's not as much of, it hasn't been like 12 months since I competed. It's just been 12 months since I competed in like the, the specific sport of Spartan racing.
You mentioned the Spartan games. How fun was that?
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a totally different experience. Super cool to be with like a lot of different athletes. Even just like kind of pick their brain and see how they train and kind of like compare notes and be like, wow, like that's how your world is. Like this is how our sport is. And yeah.
Did you have a favorite event or a least favorite event of the Spartan Games?
Oh, I think that maybe I would say the mountain bike race was both. I was probably least prepared for that. I just have no background in mountain biking, and I had maybe like a month notice that was going to be an event. And I got on the bike just because like it's not that easy to like go out and get on a mountain bike if you don't have one. Like it was difficult to rent them. It was difficult to like borrow, like again, because of COVID. So I spent exactly 2 hours on a mountain bike prior to the 6-hour race. So it was like a huge, like, I don't know, like terrifying experience. And, just like, I just totally wasn't expecting it to be that technical, which I understand there's all this conversation on how it wasn't technical, but it was technical if you've only spent 2 hours on a mountain bike. So I think it was like, it's one of like the most terrifying experiences of my life. And it was like physically really challenging because it was 6 hours of biking, which like, even just that long on a road bike would have been a lot for me, physically. So yeah, like kind of physically, mentally very challenging, but also really fun.
I'm not a big bike rider. I mean, I can ride a bike, but I would think like you need to build up, muscles in the old glutes for that, right? Like build some resistance to the seat and everything. Like I can't imagine just jumping on a bike.
Oh, and my back was killing me.
Yeah. Something else you're working on that we haven't talked about, the women's OCR development team. How is that going?
It's going great. We've had over 300 applicants, which is an awesome response. It's going to be a lot to sift through and a really hard decision to make to pick 5 athletes to be on the elite team. But yeah, it's just like, it's really overwhelmingly positive. And I love that so many females are thinking about getting into the sport. So many people have like come out and come together to try to help this initiative and just form like a really cool community. So it's going really well. So
tell me about it. You have 5 slots for elite level women, kind of like the women you would be competing against at Jacksonville, for example, like that level of competition, high level, very fast, very strong, and you're going to kind of take them to the next level? Or what is your plan for those 5 girls?
Yeah, the goal is for new and upcoming OCR athletes to have a team which will offer support in terms of coaching and nutrition and mental performance counseling as well, along with mentorship from me, and then support in terms of gear and a little bit of financial help, just like anything that is beneficial to athletes in general, but especially if you're a newcomer to a sport and you're an aspiring athlete that wants to do really well and compete at that super high level. That's kind of the goal is to help them reach that level that they want to. And especially from coming from a point of view, knowing what it's like to be a very like aerobically trained athlete who's also prepared in a lot of ways for the sport, but still finds it to be, there's a lot of factors in OCR, a lot of different variables to master. And so like, I know how frustrating it can be to come in and be really fit and be strong, and then just be totally shut down by some things, or, one race to the next, be like really thrown off by different elements of the sport that just like take time to master. So I'm hoping that I will help newcomers be able to like stick it out and find like consistency and success, because I know what it's like to like walk into the sport and struggle for sure.
Do you think that's just because it's new to them, or when you started, did you have a little learning curve at the very beginning before you started, performing, highly, finishing top 2, 3?
I would say so. Like, yeah, you can look at my introduction to the sport. You can look at Nell Rojas or Tia, or even like some other athletes that came in and maybe like raced a couple times and then left. All of us kind of had the same like experience where maybe we would do really well one race, like we'd win. And then the next race we would fail like 4 obstacles and be, like 30 minutes behind the leader, and finish like much further down than we expected. So my first year I was like first, and then like 9th, and then like, in the top 5, and then almost like left the sport. So yeah, it was very up and down the first year, and even the first 2 years for me actually. And then I kind of found some more consistency.
What brings that consistency? Is it a mental game? Is it just knowing that there's going to be ups and downs and you got to ride it out? Like, how do you get through that?
I think part of it was just experience. So, racing more. Sorry, that was my text messages. I don't know how to turn them off.
No worries.
So some of it just comes with racing more, and there's certain things that you can't prepare for, and you can't recreate and practice. And so, part of that is like, oh yeah, I was in this race, and all of a sudden, like, the mud in Asheville is like more slippery than like any other mud in the world, apparently. And, and I fell off a Z-wall, even though I've never struggled with it in practice, never struggled with it in a race, even when it's wet, even when it's muddy. But, this race happened, and it was like the same one that tons of people failed the rope climb, because this crazy mud in Asheville. I don't know what the deal with it was, but like men failed the rope climb. There was people like grabbing hay to like try to climb up it. So there's things like that happen. And then, part of it is also, kind of like having the right mental game, knowing how to overcome failure, knowing how to deal with that, and not let it consume you and not let it deter you.
You mentioned almost leaving the sport. Was that a serious conversation, a serious thought? You almost were done?
Yeah, kind of. I definitely had to look at, I guess, what I wanted out of racing in OCR and look at what I was willing to do in training, because my first couple years, to some degree, I didn't want to strength train. And then to some degree, I thought I was doing the right strength training. And so when I wasn't performing well in races, I had a really bad attitude. So I thought like part of it was like, oh, I just don't think I can do this. Like, I'm just not built for it. Like, I'm just small, and I'm just like, I'm never going to be able to carry 80 pounds. And that was part of it was changing that mindset and realizing, no, like there's other women that are my size that are doing this. And so, I better take a really hard look at my training and see if I really am doing the right kind of strength training, or maybe there's something I can do differently. And then once I realized that, it was also kind of like, well, am I willing to do this? And that is it something that I want to do? Because I've been an athlete for a long time, and I like to train in a way that's fun, and that and to me, if it's fun, it's sustainable. And so I actually had to like kind of consider if like I was going to be able to incorporate the type of training that I needed to do to excel in the sport. And ultimately, like, yeah, I found a group that was fun to train with, and that then I was training the right way. And then I saw better performances, and it wasn't making me slower, which was like sometimes women are concerned, like, oh, if I strength train more, if I become more muscular, is it going to slow me down as a runner? So yeah, like that's what I had to navigate through to realize that I did want to stay in the sport.
That's interesting the way you break it down, because I think there's women on both sides. Like, there's a lot of women that they love the CrossFit side of it, and they love the lifting weights, and they're like, well, but if I want cardio, I'll just lift faster. And I think that's real interesting, the kind of the journey you went through there. Also, when you talk about knowing what you had to do, and then versus making the decision, like, okay, is it worth the price for me? Like, do I want to do this? That's a decision like everyone has to make. Like, just because you know what to do. Sometimes, at least for me, like, I know I should eat healthier or whatever, but man, my wife is making nachos tonight. So, anyway, that's interesting way you said it.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time, especially in this sport, there's a kind of the attitude of like, I don't know, like kind of like suck it up and just do it. But, and usually it's like in the name of, having a healthier lifestyle. But, if it's not sustainable, then like, there's really no point. Because if it's not going to make you ultimately happy, and if you're not going to be able to continue doing whatever it is, like eating a certain way or exercising in a certain way, then it's also ultimately going to be a failure. So, yeah, it's kind of like similar to my attitude towards diet. Like, I don't aim for like an A+ diet. I want like a B-, B, because that's sustainable. And it's like I have like a healthier mindset around food. I have like a healthy body. I have a healthy, I stay healthier in sport, with like allowing everything in my diet, essentially.
I was going to ask you about your strength training, because you posted some videos lately or recently of you doing like a ninja course or some kind of race I saw where, you have a background as a runner, kind of the traditional, knowledge or the wisdom about Nicole Mericle is, oh, she's very fast, but they might catch her on the obstacles kind of thing. And you look like you've been working on the fitness, on the muscles, on the strength, on the obstacle proficiency during the lockdown.
Yeah, there's a gym in town, Sarah's Fitness, and they have a really great facility with a lot of different obstacles. And then I went to VJ's house in Colorado Springs, and he has like a 400-meter course set up with with like a Z wall with a rope climb, a spear, herc hoist, a monkey bar setup, and a rig. I think, and some walls, I guess, too. So I went over there just to hang out and play around on obstacles with him and Leon. And Becca came too, actually, because Becca lives with me part-time. And so I've been, especially when it's been a long time since a real race happened, it's nice to do something that's more specific. So it wasn't a race, but it was kind of like go out, run around, kind of like a workout, but more just like striding into obstacles and practicing like running in, doing an obstacle proficiently, running out fast.
How do you feel? How does your strength feel these days?
I feel strong in terms of like my upper body for sure. I did a lot of dry tooling, mixed climbing, in December and January. And basically what that is using ice tools. So you always have like a really good grip with your hand, and it's a lot of like pulling in and locking off and then reaching up really high with the next tool. So it amounts to a lot of biceps and a lot of core, which turns out to be really beneficial on obstacles.
So I've seen you do that. You have, are those regular ice axes you're using? And then
it's called an ice tool or an
ice tool. Yeah. And then you're on like it looks like a regular climbing wall, right? And you're
if it's indoor, it's it looks like a normal climbing wall. A lot of the holds you wouldn't be able to grab with your hand. They're like really tiny and they only fit the very tip of the ice pick.
Sure. So you're climbing a climbing wall, what we'd think of as a climbing wall with these ice tools. Just 1, 2, 1, 2, like we see people on ice mountains do in these National Geographic movies. And I've got to imagine, that's got to be great for your upper body.
Yeah, it's really fun. I think it's also just funny because you just have all these pointy things on all your limbs. And it's a silly sport.
Hey, the reason we actually started talking was you are sponsored by Athletic Brewing, and Athletic Brewing is sponsoring the podcast now. And so they're like, hey, what if you guys get together and have a conversation? How do you enjoy your athletic brewing, your athletic beverages?
So I really like the Upside Dawn, and I guess mostly I have it when I would have an alcoholic beverage. So I can get into periods of time where I have like a beer every night, but even like one like alcoholic beverage is like pretty detrimental to training. So it's really nice to have something that's like a good alternative for that. And it doesn't feel like it's like a burden to replace it, I guess. It's also a nice, refreshing drink. So like I typically have them like after workouts and just like kind of at night to unwind a little bit and relax.
They also have, I was looking on their website, they have these seltzers now. Have you tried those?
Yes, the seltzers are amazing. So I live at a house with 4 other roommates, and something's good when it's like so we share lots of things, something's really good when it's like gone in like a day, because between like me and the 4 roommates, it's like the seltzers they were gone.
You go to the fridge and the fridge is empty. And you're like, Rebecca Hammond, where's my seltzer?
Yeah, I hid some. They came in, and my roommate Carly was basically like, we're taking these. And I was like, well, I'm going to go to my boyfriend's house and I'm going to take a couple cases with me then.
That's funny. You mentioned the Upside Dawn. Is there another flavor people should look for?
So the IPA, I think, is like one of their most popular ones. Yeah. That's like, I think it's like between those two, but, and then there's a bunch of other ones that I haven't actually tried, like the stout. And then they even have a sour, which I haven't even like seen. And I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
What's your race schedule for the rest of the year? You're doing Jacksonville this weekend. Are you going to be at all the US National Series races?
That is the plan. Yep. All the US National Series. I'm going to Hildervat, which is a new race in Florida as well in May. And then I want to do the Mountain Running Championships, which are in August. I want to do Broken Arrow Sky Race, OCRWC, which is unfortunately the same weekend as the Spartan race in Tahoe. But there's the potential to maybe do all three because of how they are laid out. Like it would be kind of crazy
on the weekend, like flying.
Yeah, because the 3K is on Friday, the 15K is on Saturday morning, and then the race in Tahoe is Sunday morning. So I haven't really looked at flights yet, but I think that there's maybe like a 22-hour window of time in which it might be possible to make that journey.
If you could do that and win or place high enough, you could, pay for your trip and get another title under your belt there.
That could potentially be the most profitable weekend ever.
Talking to other athletes, what's your feeling for that weekend? Are most people going to do OCRWC? If they had to choose one or the other, do you think most people are tending to do OCRWC?
I think so. So Faye doesn't often go to OCRWC. So I think Faye would go to Spartan North American Champs. I think that Becca could go either way. This is just like on the women's side, obviously. And then I know that Lindsay has already said that she wants to go to OCRWC, as do I. So if we have to choose, then I think you'll see Lindsay and I both at OCRWC, which I honestly think is great because it kind of stinks that it like inherently is going to divide up the competition. So yeah, I mean, at least you'll see a good battle between me and Lindsay. I don't know.
I think over the last couple of years, the competition between you and Lindsay is the best thing in the sport of OCR. I think the men's side suffers because Atkins does not have an equivalent level of competition like you and Lindsay have. I think it's great for the sport. I love watching you two go back and forth.
Thanks. Yeah, we have a lot of fun for sure.
How can people follow you on social media?
My Instagram is Nicole, which is NICKELD, which is after my middle name Danielle, and then M Mericle. So Nicole DM. And then I have Facebook. I don't use it as much, and then I have my own website, but I also don't use that very much. It's NicoleMericle.co. And then there'll be a new website launched very shortly, probably before this podcast is out. And that, I guess I don't have a name for it yet. So
what's the address?
So the name is to be determined. It's like almost ready, but not quite.
Okay.
And so I guess I won't announce it.
Well, let me know. We'll shoot it out on Instagram or on Twitter.
Yeah.
Nicole, do you have any last thoughts on 2021 or Athletic Brewing? Anything else?
Last thoughts. I don't know. I don't know if you saw my latest post, but I did. So I'm practicing my spear throw, obviously, because the race coming up. Of course. And I was practicing my spear throw and tried to hit the Athletic Brewing. You have to go check it out. It's a very silly video. But that'll be my challenge I want to see like other people try to like spear throw an Athletic Brewing.
Try to spear a can of Athletic Brewing. Mm-hmm. Like that, those are regular 12-ounce cans. Those are not large targets.
Yeah, it's a small target. So I think it'll help people's accuracy for sure.
You can follow Nicole Mericle on Instagram. You can get more on Athletic Brewing at athleticbrewing.com. Nicole Mericle, thanks much.
Thank you.
Special thanks to Nicole Mericle and Athletic Brewing. Well done, Nicole. Come back anytime. Nicole has that world champion / OCR company CEO golden ticket to get back on the show anytime she'd like. That golden ticket list is actually longer than you'd think. You can lose your golden ticket, though. In the 5 years I've been doing this, I've only had to revoke a golden ticket once. It's okay, though. He was a bit of a tosser. Hey, go buy some Athletic Brewing. Support the show. Support the companies that support OCR. Use code OCR Report 15 for 15% off your first order. And if you buy 2 6-packs, you get free shipping. I will talk with you soon. Go spend time with someone you love.